What's going on, everybody? My name is Jamie Cheerio, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Jimmy Sorrells, and welcome to the Liberty Lounge. We're excited to be able to be here. As y'all know, Liberty Networking is a network that grows businesses by connecting entrepreneurs that promote liberty and operate with integrity, and the Liberty Lounge is a place that we have come together to be able to interview some of our awesome members to hear about their backgrounds, their stories, their tips for networking, and we get to talk about some fun things that are going on in the world. Jimmy, tell us a little bit about how you founded Liberty Networking and really some of the values you guys have.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was in about 5 or 6 different network organizations, and I just had the idea to come together to bring like-minded people together for a networking opportunity, and it's something a little bit different than what's out there, the way the structure is and the way things are set up. So our core values are liberty and integrity, and our core focus is building authentic long-term relationships. So we focus on the relationships. When you build that, the business will come.
That's incredible. So, guys, I'm excited to introduce our special guest, Mr. Whaley.
Thank you.
What's up, Wayne? How we doing?
Pretty good this morning. Wide awake.
Good, man. Good. Well, we're excited to have you here on the podcast, and excited to really learn about your background and your story. You are the owner of Greenville Insurance Advisors. You are a property and casualty insurance agent, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your background, your story. How you got into insurance. When you were a little kid, did you grow up and say, "I want to be an insurance agent when I grow up"? How'd we get here?
So actually, I did not grow up wanting to be an insurance agent. My actual goal was to be an NFL player. In high school, that was my dream. I just wanted to be an NFL player because I was playing football. I was, out there on the field every day working out, and an injury happened, and it just kicked me off the field. And I was like, all right, got to find something else to do. And then just went straight into working full time. Got out of school, got a job working at, I think it was Walmart, working there full time, taking care of my family, and actually my mom, taking care of her. So went from working full time to just trying to do other stuff on the side. That didn't really pan out, so ended up leaving Walmart, leaving the other jobs and everything else, moved out, got my own place, and then started working at BMW. Mm-hmm. And that's where, 12 years of my life went to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 7 years on night shift. So anybody that's done night shift, it's tough. It's
Not
rough.
for me.
Yeah, so that put some years on me. I don't know if you could tell the wrinkles right here and everything, but it was rough. Working physically hard a lot, nonstop, moving 30,000 steps a day really tore my body down. So finally switched to day shift, and then just wanted to focus on taking care of my family, taking care of my wife and my kids. So decided to start doing some research into what I can do outside. And I actually had a coworker. He came to me. He was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about leaving." We worked together for 5 years. I never thought he was going to leave. And out of nowhere, he said, "Hey, I'm leaving. I'm just going to go somewhere else. I'm going to go be a PNC agent." I was like, "Okay, sounds cool. That's fine." And he took the test. Next thing I know, he was leaving BMW. Now he's in Colombia actually doing PNC, the same thing I do, but he's commercial strictly. So I still talk to him, work with him, and he helps me out too. But he persuaded me to take the test, and he was like, "All right, if you can't take the test, figure out something else to do, but try the test first. Just see what you can do." It's like, okay, I'll try it. So went out there, studied, doing some research, figure out what to do, how to do, and everything. And the test was not easy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it was not easy. It took me 4 tries, and then I finally passed it. Mm-hmm. So it was rough. It was headache, a lot of stuff. But
How long ago was that?
Back in August of 2022.
Okay.
So I've been doing it since August 15th of 2022. That's when I.
So you said 12 years at BMW.
Yes.
And then we're about 2 years here in the insurance, industry, and you're self-employed, correct?
Right now I'm actually with the agency, so I'd say, yeah, pretty much self-employed. I mean, it pretty much is what it is.
1099 commission for the most part?
Really, actually W-2. So it's
okay.
Yeah, it's working out better that way.
So what's been like the biggest difference from like working for like a big company like BMW, where it's like, hey, you need to, do X, Y, Z every single day, to now, come into the insurance world where, really as long as you get your work done, you can service your clients really any time of day. Like, what's been like the biggest differences you found from like a traditional corporate 9 to 5, like into now building your own book of business?
The biggest difference is you have to, in the 9 to 5 job, you have to be there at a certain time, and you have to go until, they tell you when the break is coming. Now, in this right here, it's more self-motivation. Yeah. Like, you have to come in, you have to push yourself to do things that you wouldn't normally feel like doing. I mean, you have to reach out to people, you have to find people to talk to, You have to go out there and network. I mean, you have to do all that stuff. You have to push yourself to do it. So you got to find that motivation before you come in every day to make sure, all right, I can do this. I'm going to do this.
Where does that motivation? What is it for you?
For me, it's my wife and my kids.
Love it.
So that's what I wake up to every day. I say goodbye to them every morning. You know, before I came here, I say goodbye to them. So, I mean, even though they're sleeping nice right now, but, you know, hey, still say goodbye.
I think that's one of the hardest things for somebody switching over from a traditional 9 to 5 to, you know, any form of, you know, being a business owner or building your own book of business is the idea of, you know, kind of being your own boss. Because, you know, I'll be honest, you know, there's been many times in my career where I've been a very bad boss to myself, where it's like, okay, you know, you determine when you show up. So I'll show up whenever I want. You know, you determine how many appointments you want. Well, I don't really want to work today. But then it's like, I think it's when you have like that big why of, you know, like my family and here's why I'm doing this. It's like, well, I don't really need to be now. Like all I need is that, like looking at my face saying like, here's why I'm going to be disciplined today.
That's right.
Yeah, I would make a very bad employee now.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I think there's just like this big thing about like almost like the employee mindset versus the entrepreneur mindset. And I feel like we could go off on that and like all the things that you've learned now, you know, networking, being a business owner, you know, that you would have never even, you know, discovered.
And your income, like you were probably salaried at BMW, or I was at hourly.
It was hourly
okay.
at BMW. So
but it was only capped as many hours as you could work.
So it took me, I had to work 80 hours to get the full pay every 2 weeks. That's, 40 hours a week. But, I mean, once you hit top pay, which it took me 7 years to get there, once you hit top pay, you just got to wait till they give you raises. So, I mean, right now it's actually, if I work more, I get paid more.
100%.
So now that you took a pay cut to start something new, but now you don't have a ceiling on what you can earn.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, you're in such a cool business, insurance, where the goal is renewals and residual income for continuing to service clients. And at BMW, you had to, you work an hour, you get paid $1. You work an hour, get paid $1. And the only way that you can make more money is if you work more hours, which you had a cap. Or they decide to pay you, which is pay you more, which is totally in their control when they decide to do that. Whereas in your business, in Jimmy's business, in my business, in most businesses, but specifically insurance, you just decide I want to serve more families this month. Really the sky's the limit, which is such an incredible thing.
Yeah. Just block out some time and just say, hey, I'm gonna go out here and try to get 50 appointments or something like that. So. Of course, give my wife the heads up. Say, hey, I'm going to be unavailable for some time. Focus. So
that's right.
So that's an interesting conversation, and we're all married here. So, did any of y'all have to have a conversation with your wife, specifically about, hey, like we're going to give up the salary, we're going to give up the guaranteed hourly, and we're now going to be self-employed entrepreneurs, and trust me, babe, we're going to make it. Like, what did that conversation go like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I went I worked with Kellogg for 10 years. I was in the corporate world, and I got laid off in 2019. So I didn't want to go through that again. So I did take a job for about 1.5 years, but it was phone sales. And so I went to a commission, and then I said, look, I found this other industry. I do merchant services now. I started that back in 2020, and she said, well, whatever you want to do, I'm behind you. And if it wasn't for her, I mean, that's a big part of it. She's always supported me. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I'm figuring it out. I'm surrounded by great leaders who are helping me. But the same thing when I said, well, I think I want to give this networking thing a shot, and I'm going to try this and see how it works. And it started growing, and it's, turned into a really great thing. But she has been there to support me. Without that, it would be 100 times more difficult, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think none of us got into business to go ahead and get divorced.
No.
Everyone got into business so they could have that freedom.
I told her, I said, when we were getting married, and I said, I'm going to do this one time. Are you sure?
Yeah.
So she said yes. So here we are.
Yeah,
that's good.
Said the same, so.
And you had that conversation with your wife when you said, I'm going to go from, a guaranteed paycheck to, now, a pay cut, but a new career? Like, what did that conversation look like?
It was a scary conversation at first, honestly, because she was like, do you know what you're doing? Are you sure? Like, I know I got confidence in you, but are you sure this is what you want to do? And I was like, well, let's plan it out. Let's try to figure it out. It took me 1.5 years.
Oh, wow.
To plan this out, because we had to cut some expenses. We had to change our budget, because I knew I was taking a big pay cut. So, and my hours are going to change. I had to, get some different clothes, because I didn't always dress like this. I used to wear pajamas pretty much all day after. So. So, I had to get ready and, prepare everything and plan it out. And that's been the biggest thing that's helped me, just planning. So
That's good.
That's really good. I know that when we've chatted in some of our networking meetings and I've got to know you a little bit, you've talked a lot about just your heart behind serving the client. And like one of the things we always want to know from someone who's been in business, like what are some like lessons or character traits or, things that our listeners can develop on how they can just get better in business?
Well, I can start with active listening. That's the biggest thing,
Okay.
because that was the one thing that's another push that got me into this industry. We had a broker who didn't listen to us whatsoever. He didn't communicate. That's another topic too. Active listening and communication. That's the biggest thing that has helped me. It's helped me connect on so many levels with everybody I talk to. So that's the biggest thing that's going to help. And I mean, there's research, videos you can do, books you can read about how to get better at it because everybody learns differently. You may have to read something to figure out how to do it. You may have to actually, do it yourself to, put yourself in the actual action to figure out, hey, I need to fix this and get better at it. So
100%. And one of the things I've noticed, at least in your industry, is that let's say you've got, two insurance agents side by side, insurance agent A and insurance agent B, and they both offer very identical products. What is the reason that you go with insurance agent A or B? A lot of the times it's just because one does what he says he's going to do. They answer their phone when you call, and they're available. And again, you talked about that active listening. I know that's a big thing for you. Is that you spend a lot of time with your clients and you make them feel important.
Oh yeah. So the biggest thing, I've gotten some people to switch to me simply. I mean, even if the rate is higher, I've gotten some people to switch to me. So mainly because I communicate with them. I mean, sometimes a little bit too much, like text and stuff like that, but they appreciate it either way. At the end of the day, they say, I appreciate you communicating with me. I appreciate you talking to me. I mean, just being open and transparent about everything that's on the policy and what they're paying for. So that's the biggest thing that's helped me, and then everybody appreciates it. So.
Nice.
I mean, it sounds like you're selling based on value rather than price, because I think that, I'm in a little bit different line of insurance. I'm on the life insurance side, and I sell people policies that are more expensive all the time. And I go, hey, those extra $5 a month, that's because you're getting me as your insurance agent.
Yep.
So it's that confidence level of, hey, I'm going to treat your family right.
Yep. That's right.
Giving them that, which is a big deal. Okay, so let's kind of transition here a little bit. So, Liberty Networking, we've got a bunch of people who believe in, entrepreneurship and freedom. They love our country, and we gather a specific, like-minded group of people with common, values. I moved all the way from Oregon to South Carolina just so I could soak in the family values that, this area of the country has. And then, to be able to join a group where it's like, hey, at the center of this group, we all share a lot of the same values. There's a lot going on in the world, and like just this breath of fresh air by being able to surround yourself with like-minded people. I guess, as a conservative business owner, like what's going on in the world right now that's concerning to you? Anything where you're like worried for your kids? Like obviously it's election year. Like what's going on in the world that you think is worth highlighting?
Where do I start? Where do I start? Oh my goodness. I mean, there's so much, but I mean, the biggest thing is like retirement. I mean, just trying to teach my kids how to, self-motivate and eventually be business owners, because my son, he wants to start a car washing business. So, he's seen me and I've inspired him, and he's like, I can do it too. That's another thing there. Just want to teach him freedom of his income and of his time in life. So that's another thing there. And it's hard to do it, out here because there's so many scams and things people are dealing with right now. So scams kind of deter people from dealing with new businesses, and it's hard to. So all the new businesses we got to push ourselves out there and make sure people know they can trust us. Another thing too is, just keeping faith.
Yeah.
Because that's why I tell my kids every day, no matter what happens, keep your faith, trust us, me and his mom, trust us, and we're going to do right with you. We're going to treat you right, and trust God. Believe in Jesus. That's the best thing. So
I love it.
Yep.
What do y'all do for school? Do you guys go public, private, homeschool?
We were doing homeschool, but my wife, she's a stay-at-home mom, so that kind of it's really getting to the end of its point right now because she's ready to go back to work. She's been doing it since 2013, and bless her for that.
How old are your kids?
My son, he'll be 12 this month, and actually about 2 weeks, and then my daughter should be 5 in June.
Okay. So when you guys decided to homeschool, it was really just you wanted to have a good handle on, like the values that your kids are being taught. You talked about, the idea of like your son's like, I want to be a business owner. And where would he get that idea other than looking at dad?
Yep, that's right.
So that's such a cool thing. And Jimmy, you guys homeschool, don't you?
Yes, we have 4 kids that my wife homeschools.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm the principal.
Oh, I love that. My wife was a teacher for 10 years, and that was a big reason, again, that we moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. Even like she was a public school teacher, and the things that we saw and heard, it got wild the last couple of years. And even coming out here, I think everyone here is like, oh, the public schools. And I'm like, dude, it's 1,000 times better than it was on the West Coast. You know, if we put our kid in public school, it would feel like private school on the West Coast. So I'm like, what is private school or homeschool like over here? You know, when you've got the values that, you know, everyone here has.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, Wayne, what is something interesting or surprising about you that nobody on this podcast might know about you?
So I grew up playing video games.
Okay.
I started playing. My dad actually got me my first video game. It was a Super Nintendo. Well, my grandma got it. It was a Super Nintendo. That was the first console I got. I was 5 years old, and I remember playing, you know, the spaceship game where it's side scrolling. You know, you shooting up the alien ships and everything.
Oh yeah.
So that got me hooked right there. And then I started playing other video games and just went from there. And now, you know, my wife, she's into video games. You know, that's kind of why we got married, because we have some things in common.
Just so you could play games together?
Well, that was, you know, I need a teammate. I like to have somebody to go with me, like, you know, going into places alone.
What's the favorite game that y'all play together that you dominate on?
That I dominate on, or
Together.
Together? It was Mario Kart. You know,
Okay.
we were doing pretty good, but
I can get down on some Mario
Yeah.
Kart. So.
lately we've tried to do Call of Duty. So,
Okay.
you know, we've tried to do pretty good because I like guns, you know, and
Sure.
playing that, obviously, you know, I can see different guns and want to test them out. So we've been doing that pretty good.
Nice.
Her brother plays it. We have like a whole squad of like 10 people that, you know, we all get together and play.
Oh,
it.
wow.
So, yeah.
Like a LAN party.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Pretty
okay.
much. So we
Nice.
started playing just about every Friday, Saturday, and, you know, Sunday night.
Wow.
I love that. I never got into any of the first-person shooters, but I could get down on some Mario Kart. And for the longest time, I had the N64 when I was at college. And anytime my buddies would get back together, you know, even to this day, you know, now we're in our 30s, you know, pull out the N64 and, you know, we're going to have a good time. My wife, you know, she's not a video game person at all. But this is just funny because she Crash Bandicoot. That's her game. So PlayStation. She knows every single level. She knows every single secret, and you wouldn't think it. You look at her, you're like, this, you know, this little blonde girl, you know, would never expect her to be good at it. And then, you know, I got hurt a couple years ago, and I was living with a roommate before we got married, and he had an Xbox. So he goes out, he's like, oh, you're hurt, I'm going to go buy a couple games. And he buys the Forza driving game, which is a lot of fun.
Yes.
And my wife was so good at it. I was mind blown. She's better than all of us at it.
Really?
Like, this is not an easy game to be good at.
Yeah.
And somehow you just come out and you're just amazing at this Xbox driving game. So that was always, we always joke all the time about that. So that's cool.
So was there something else about the video games you were going to say?
I was going to say, I mean, yeah, we play Mario Kart. We played the first-person shooter, you know, Forza, that's a big one. And my daughter, she's, you know, she'll be 5. And we started teaching her how to play Mario Kart. She's actually beat my son.
Oh, wow.
I started playing with him when he was 5. So, you know, I've been teaching him and everything, but still can't beat me. You know, I'm still number one in the household, but, you know.
Do you guys play on the Switch?
Yeah. All 4 of us play at the same time, so.
Yeah, we had some friends bring over the Switch Mario Kart on New Year's, and it is a lot harder than the N64 version.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's 100% different. Okay, so let's transition into our networking segment of the Liberty Lounge. You know, obviously the reason that this podcast was created was, you know, to talk about, you know, networking groups, you know, in general and kind of why it's powerful. I mean, Jimmy, give us just a little bit of your background in networking and why, you know, you wanted to start something that was different than the other networking groups that are out there.
Yeah, well, like I stated earlier, I was in a lot of networking groups, at least 5 or 6. Some were hybrid, online versions or in person, starting back in 2020. And I just kind of noticed different things that worked well and some things that didn't work as well in different networking organizations. And so when I started Liberty Networking, I took the best of what I knew and put that together. So for one instance, like we meet bi-weekly instead of weekly because I believe that a network organization should be a tool for your business and not a part-time job. And again, focusing on the relationships and not, you know, I want people to give real referrals and not weak leads. And so that's when you build those relationships and so we've improved a lot of things. We're still improving, always changing, making things better because we want the members to get the most value out of being a member and not just show up and be there. I have the atmosphere, the culture, the structure, all that is created for the members, but I can't make the members do the work of building the relationships.
That's right.
So that while that's there, you can't just show up and expect, referrals. You got to put in the work to grow yourself and grow those relationships and all.
Yep.
Absolutely. Wayne, what has been, how long have you been with Liberty Networking?
It'll be a year, actually.
Oh, wow.
March, right? I think it's March.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So
Perfect timing. So, a year into Liberty Networking, there's some tips for some of those out there that are watching right now that are, valued members of the networking group, across various chapters in the upstate. How can they best take advantage of being a part of a networking group, or how to best take advantage of specifically Liberty Networking?
So first, I just want to say thank you, Jimmy. I mean,
You're welcome.
this networking group, I've visited other ones, and it's been a great tool for the business. I mean, it's been helpful. It's helped me connect with so many other people I never thought I would connect with. I mean, just name a whole list of them now, the ones in my chapter.
Well, that's a good point too. Connections. It's not all about just referrals, but the connections. You could connect two people. I could connect you with somebody, and y'all could do $100,000 in business with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So connections is huge. And I always tell people, when you're in a network organization and you're asking for a connection, be very specific.
Yep.
The more specific, if you're in a network organization, you say, hey, I'm trying to connect with everybody. I can help anybody. Well, when you say anybody, you usually get nobody. But the more specific you can get, it triggers people's brain. That, I do know somebody in this and this, and then so.
Yep.
But that's a good point there.
Yep. And to touch on that too, I mean, that's what's helped me. Just not target every single person. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to talk to anybody.
Absolutely.
I'll talk to everybody.
Sure.
I mean, it doesn't bother me.
We know you will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. And honestly, I didn't used to be like this either. I used
really?
to be a hermit,
Okay.
you could say. So, but, I mean, I kind of forced myself to get out there because, BMW, team leadership, all that kind of stuff. But now the biggest thing that's helped me, and just a little tip for everybody, just authentic connections. Being your authentic, true self when you're coming out there talking to somebody. Don't put on a shade because, I mean, you're going to talk to everybody. You're going to be nervous at first, which is normal. Everybody's nervous. I mean, you walk into a room full of people, they're going to be nervous anyways.
Right.
So you just got to be authentic, be who you are, create the small talk at first, but lead into a more developed conversation. It's going to help you build a relationship with that one person, and you never know, they may end up being your best friend.
That's right.
And as you show up more, you start to see more familiar faces, and it starts to become more familiar. And I remember, Jimmy's got to know me a little bit now, and so is Wayne. I'm a pretty social guy.
Yeah.
And however, I remember my first social with Liberty Networking. Jimmy looked at me and he's like, "Dude, you're on the outskirts. Is everything okay? I didn't know you were shy, man." And I was like, "I'm really not, but I don't know anybody here except for you. So all right, I'm scared too, but let's do this. Let's get out there and make those connections."
Well, after doing this for so long, I would say, and this is a made-up number, but in my mind, it's probably 60% of people in a network organization are probably introverts too.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I would say it's over half. So, whenever you go to a network, take somebody with you that already knows people, and they can introduce you. So that's a little tip there.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously joining Liberty Networking, it's no secret, super transparent. We've got annual dues, just like every other organization out there. And it's $400 for the year, which really is not a lot at all. It's a fraction of the value that you're going to get. Talk to us a little bit about some of the value that you've gotten, or maybe if there's someone who's watching this right now that was invited to a meeting, they were invited to watch this podcast, and they're just kind of on the edge of should I join Liberty Networking? Is it worth it? Am I going to get my money's worth out of it? What would you have to say to them?
So you will get your money's worth. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Ever since I joined, when I first joined, I was kind of iffy because I was like, how's it going to be? And then when I started talking to people, I was getting to know the business owners, and they were all, talking to me and actually holding me accountable, because they're like, hey, if I send you somebody, can I trust that you're going to do good with them? And that's the best thing that's helped me, develop my business and get better about myself. So self-accountability with everybody in the group. And then everybody, we all treat each other like family. I mean, even if I go to another chapter, we're all joking and laughing. And, I visited your chapter a couple times, it's fun. Everybody's down to earth. And, there's not really any strict, hard requirements, and I really appreciate that. It's more of, just show up, be yourself, and trust everybody. So.
Yeah, that's good.
It's incredible, man. Well, we want to give you a chance to plug yourself a little bit. Tell us just, a little bit more your business name, business website. How can people get a hold of you? What can you specifically help them with? What do you love helping people with? What's your favorite part about what you do?
So Greenville Insurance Advisors, we are a property and casualty. So that means we do home, auto, boat. I got to think of the whole list. Small business, big business, Anything but life and health. We don't do that, so that's a whole nother animal that not dealing with yet.
You can call me for the life.
Yeah.
That's right.
Shameless plug. All right.
Yep, there you go. But mainly that's the main thing we focus on. We try to help everybody we can, and obviously, you can't help everybody. So if we can't help you, we'll try our best to at least leave you with more information and leave you feeling better about the topic of insurance. As you need to go somewhere else. But if we do help you, the biggest thing is communication. Call, text, email. You can even text the office line. I mean, it's 3 of us there right now, a 4th person soon to be, and we're going to teach, the same thing, communication, call, text, or email. You text, we're all get it, and I love it. Facebook, social media, we're all about that. LinkedIn, we're on there too. So pretty much started TikTok, trying to do stuff on there. So if you see me on TikTok, you're welcome to add me, follow me, whatever you want to do on there. And yeah, just thinking
what type of clients do you work with, and what areas do you work in?
So type of clients, really try to focus on homeowners first, because, that's the type of clients that really keep their policies. They keep it active because, have a lot more responsibility. But business owners, small business, big business, like I said, it doesn't matter. We have companies that will take care of pretty much any kind of client. Even the people who have one car, and they're just getting started, like teenagers. A lot of people have teenagers who are just started driving. My brother-in-law is one. He's got 2 of them in his household. Just helped him do a policy yesterday for his 2 teenagers. So that's the topic right there. Like to help people out.
Anywhere in the state of South Carolina?
Oh yeah. So actually, I'm licensed in South Carolina, the whole state. From up here to the coast. The agency licensed in North Carolina and South Carolina, working on Georgia. Just want to stay in the Southeast right now because, the more you branch out, the more each state has different requirements for insurance on our side. And, Jamie, you know that. It gets more stricter with every other state. So we just want to stay in the Southeast right now. So
That's awesome. So, guys, if you're looking for business insurance, if you're looking for car insurance, if you're looking for property and casualty, home insurance, commercial business insurance, there's just so many things that you can get out of working with someone like Wayne. So, Wayne, how can someone get a hold of you? What's your phone number?
So office number is 864-527-7742. That's the office number. And I'm willing to share my cell number.
Why not? Shameless
So
plug.
my cell number is 867-9427. So you can call or text either one of those lines, and you can get in contact with me, ask questions. I'm here for you.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in. We look forward to talking to everybody on the next episode of the Liberty Lounge. Thank you so much, Wayne. We appreciate you. And everybody, we will see you next time. Have a good one.